Today, we are talking about one of the most intriguing quarterback prospects in this year's class. He's got elite arm talent, great mobility, and a playmaker mentality. But is he the next Superflex stud or dud? Let's break it down on the next Going for Two scouting report. All right, I'm here with Ryan, and we, of course, are breaking down everybody's QB1 in this draft class. Cam Ward, of course, out of Miami, 6'2", 219 pounds. Ryan, we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. What did you see when you watched Cam?
Uh, it's a he was a fun mixed bag of everything. The good thing he has cannon for arm. He tends to thrive when he throws inside and he gets a chance to drive the ball and force it into Pete and put it into tight holes. He takes his time through progressions. He moves very well in the pocket, throws good floaters. Again, he's an A-plus athlete. He can throw to all areas of the field, make all the throws you want, and he can do enough running the ball to make him intriguing and dangerous.
Yeah, I have a couple of those same notes there, right? Elite arm talent, great ability to extend plays. I mean, you mentioned his running ability, but it's also his ability to extend plays and still look down the field and find players down there. Accuracy on intermediate and deep throws is pretty good. And his composure in the pocket. I know we'll probably get to it a little bit, but sometimes he almost looks bored standing back there when he's surveying the field. He's standing flat footed. He's not really bouncing around. He just seems to have that composure back there. So I think that's also a plus for him as well.
Yeah, I'm it's a plus, but for me, it almost went too far in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
Like the casual play isn't gonna work outside of college football, and it barely worked there. I kind of hated how relaxed he was and how he just kind of sit back there. Like
yeah,
it was a big thing for me where I just didn't like it for my franchise quarterback to be that relaxed in the pocket, and not like just go.
yeah. I agree 100%. I think it was almost like him almost trying to show off in a way. But yeah, it's not going to happen in the NFL. I can guarantee you that the coaches are not going to allow that to happen. Let's go ahead and flip to the negative side. What kind of things did you see that you didn't like about him?
That was one of them. I think he relies on that float ball too much on his deep throws, where he'll just release it at the top before anything really shows up, and he just does it up. He might get that before that. I think he plays a lot of hero ball. He doesn't always protect it well, whether it's passing or throwing. He will make turnovers and kind of ones that look lackadaisical and kind of like those mental lapses, which kind of goes back to what we said about like him playing kind of like casual and almost too relaxed. Like a lot of it kind of intertwines for me where there's some issues there. His mechanics were fine and his timing was fine. Could definitely need some work. My big issue is just kind of decision making, and I don't know if there's anything like one super special thing about his game. It's kind of just good all around, but it needs a lot of polish still for being a 5-year starter.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. One of the things I wrote down was he throws up his back foot far too often. I think that comes from some of his casual play where he was, sitting there casually and all of a sudden he's got a guy in his face. He's backing up and throwing it off his back foot, which is definitely not good. Ball security concerns. I think you said he had like 40 some fumbles in his career. Um,
46.
46. Yeah, that's a lot of that's a lot of fumbles. So he's got to definitely clean it up at the next level. And he also struggles to read complex coverages. There's a couple times where I've watched him where the defense disguised the coverage pretty well. He thought he had it read, and it didn't work out well for him. So he does struggle with that a little bit. Of course, at the next level, he's going to see that a ton. So I kind of agree with you in the sense that I think he's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's a great quarterback. He just happens to be coming out in a class that doesn't have a lot of great quarterbacks, so he'll be pushed up the draft board because of that. Um, but with that said, where do you see him landing? Like, where do you see him as far as team, or is there a fit that you like for him?
I mean, he's gonna go one overall. Like, let's be real. He's going there top three at the worst. He's gonna be an immediate start.
Yeah, so
Like,
the
there's
Titans have
not like
told
we
us
really have
they
to.
want to trade out. So if the Titans trade out, who do you think might go up and get him?
I mean, the Browns could move up a spot. I still think the Titans could. I honestly do.
It's definitely possible.
Um,
I agree.
yeah.
If you're thinking fantasy, is there a team that you
Maybe the Giant. Honestly, the Giants could jump as well.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Giants, I think Giants would be good. Him and Malik Neighbors. Cleveland seems to ruin quarterbacks. Giants at least have a history of somewhat of a history of having some decent quarterbacks. Maybe they can make
I
something out of Cam Ward and Malik Neighbors.
I still think the Titans stay.
It's definitely possible. I mean, they're not set at quarterback for sure unless they get like a massive package. And I don't
Yeah,
know
they're
what kind of assets the Giants have to move up if there's enough that they can get up to that number one spot if they were to move up.
I can't see him falling. I mean, Cleveland's running to the board if he's there and they
Yeah.
don't trade him out.
Agreed. All right, let's talk about some player comps here. You mentioned before the show here that player comps are always a little bit tough with quarterbacks, and I agree 100%. But who'd you come up with?
LaMelo Ball, basketball player, like that, just street ball, just kind of making plays and playing football type thing, and not really always doing it the way that it looks like it should be done. And the creativity, it can be good, it can be bad, but if it's reined in, it can be good, really good. On a more realistic note, maybe like a Donovan McNabb, where he was fairly athletic enough to make a run if possible, strong arm, had tools, just with some inconsistencies.
Yeah, I like that comp there with Donovan McNabb. I also like them in the Lamelo Ball one as well. I had a more athletic Tony Romo. Obviously, Tony Romo wasn't a very highly touted player, but he had that sort of creativity behind the line to extend plays. Always seemed to be able to find a guy down the field, and I saw a little bit of that in Cam Ward as well. Romo didn't have the arm talent that Cam Ward has, I don't think. But I think comparing their type of game, I think there's some comparisons to Romo there as well. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this up?
No, I think it's not a lock, one overall, two overall for rookie drafts. Like,
Agreed.
don't feel forced to take a quarterback at one overall in Superflex.
Agreed. Yeah, I think he's kind of falling in that 103 right now in a lot of the mocks that I've been doing. Even that, if you don't really need a quarterback, I don't know if I've even reached that high for him. I would probably take some more of the skill players before I take him.
I mean, his most rushing attempts in the year was 120 and 144 yards. He's not a true runner, which means you have to be an elite passer. And I
Yeah,
don't know if that's truly there yet. He could be a good quarterback, but not great fantasy. So I would just be a little weary before I'm reaching on a quarterback when I don't have to.
agreed. All right, that wraps up our scouting report on Cam Ward. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and on TikTok or wherever you're watching this currently. We'll be doing these breakdowns all the way up until the draft, so make sure you follow us to see more. And we'll see you next time.